Hey guys, I just want to do a quick video and show you how I make these ball flange type fittings at home for exhaust systems. So I usually find that it's 2.5 inch pipe that I'm doing it on. Sure, it could work with different types of sizes and things like that. Using this method, you'll see in a second how I mean, but it works best on 2.5, and it fits into these 2.5 inch donut gaskets. So this would go onto the exhaust manifold of the vehicle, and then that would go on kind of like that, and then a sleeve comes and pulls everything together. So this donut creates the seal. But usually this is a part you have to get or order or have buy it at a store or have a machine make it or something like that. And usually they're pretty expensive to get in stainless steel like this. If you buy them online or things like that, they're usually about $50–60 a piece, but you can make them pretty easy at home. So let's go over to the press and show you how to do that. Okay, so I'm over here at the press, and I'm gonna basically put a rounded flange on the end of this 2.5 inch OD stainless pipe, basically to look like this one that came off the vehicle. It's kind of rounded. It's not flared, it's flared and rounded right here. So we're trying to mimic that so it fits into the donut gasket better. So this is just a cheap press with a bottle jack on it essentially, and we're going to place the part in there like that. And then what you're going to do is, depending on the size of the pipe, you're going to get a trailer hitch ball. So for this one, this 2.5 inch pipe, I'm going to use 2 5/16 ball, which is the biggest ball they make. However, I've seen on Amazon, things like that, you can get just 3 inch chrome balls just for, they're like giant ball bearings basically for whatever reason, but they would work good for a bigger size pipe. And then obviously if you're doing a smaller pipe, like 1.5 inch, you'd use a smaller hitch ball, whatever would be closest to your application. So I just oil it, and you can see this one's rusty, so it doesn't even have to be like brand new or shiny or anything like that. And we're going to put it into the press, and we're going to position it so everything lines up. And I oil it just with, that's just penetrating lubricant, but any kind of work. And we're going to tighten everything down here. And we're going to start pressing into it. Now, depending on the size of your donut gasket, it's going to determine how far you actually have to press this ball in. But it actually works really well. So you just gotta make sure the pipes are cut very square so they sit square in the press, and just go slow, and it's going fairly easily. So I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot of force. This is a 10-ton press, and I'm using probably 3/4, maybe half of its force. And then you're gonna keep going until you're about almost halfway up the ball, because once you're halfway up the ball, it starts to flatten out, and then you're starting to go in the reverse direction, and you don't want that. It doesn't seat with the gasket nice. So we're going to go almost halfway, which I would say is about there. Maybe one more. Okay, now for my particular donut gasket, it needs to be just a little bit bigger on the right on the rim. So, and then this tries to stick in sometimes, so if you hit, I'm going to hit it on the floor, but basically hit it like this and it'll just pop right off. Like that. Then you're left with that shape. So you're already starting to get the shape really nice there. Now the problem is it doesn't sit in this donut really well. See, it kind of sits up too high there, it doesn't really fit in. So because I don't have a bigger ball hitch right now, what I've done is I've just cut strips of aluminum, thin aluminum sheet metal, and I've just made like 3 rings. These are shaped like this because I already pressed one, but basically you just make a ring, and I did 3 of them because I figured it would give me the diameter at the edge of the pipe, and I just fit them all together like that. And what I do is I put them into the pipe, and I try to stagger the joints. So I'll put that one in, and then I'll stagger the joint on that over here, and then this one over here. And then what this will do is it flares just the top portion of the pipe, so you can open up just the top without opening up the whole piece, if that makes any sense. So see here, you press this in and you'll see it's just flaring the top now instead of trying to make the whole thing bigger. So you see it's starting to just flare the top. Now this is where you got to kind of do it by eye. So I'm going to go to about there and just back it off, try it. And then that comes out really nice. So you're left with that, and then if everything went well, that pretty well is the shape of it fits in there nice, just like that. So and then what happens is your collar comes up here and it chokes this basically, and then there's 3 bolts that bolt right onto your exhaust manifold. So I hope you guys like that. It's just it was a really cheap alternative to buying these pre-made. So for my exhaust system, it actually comes out of the manifold at 2.5 inches with this flare, and then I'm actually going to switch my whole exhaust system to 2.5. So what I'm going to do is, after I put the flange on here, I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to flare this end out to the 2.5, which the remainder of my exhaust system will be, and that will create a nice transition. Because unfortunately, I can't put a 2.5-inch pipe directly to the manifold. It just wouldn't work out well with this setup. So hope you guys found that helpful. Thanks. Okay, so just one more thing. I didn't really like the top of this. It just needs, the very top needs to be flared out a little bit more. So while I'm doing that, I'm just going to show you. So I had the 3 from before. I'm going to sit them all in there. 3 pieces of aluminum. It doesn't have to be aluminum. It can even be like sheet metal. But that's what I do. That's how they start. They're just flat pieces of sheet metal. Just happens to be aluminum. I cut them out with the snips, and then so this one I'm going to fit right in there. You got to really, and then this is really going to flare out the top, I think. It just wasn't fitting into the donut exactly how the factory one did. Okay, so I'm going to put that into there like that. So that's how it starts out. It kind of starts kind of awkward and square, but once you put the pressure on it, should be good to go. So kind of doing this the first time with the pieces is kind of awkward. So I do one piece at a time, but once you have the pieces made, you just save them for whenever you do this. So there's that. Just make sure everything's fairly straight. And then yeah, sometimes that happens where it tries to push out, so then you just restart. You have to basically get them to all catch and push down in there together. So what I need to do here is, because this is fold over so much, you should got to trim off some of that so it creates more of that shape. And put it in there, and that should go down. Okay, so it's trying to come out a little bit, but as long as it catches just before, right there, so just the very bottom of it is catching. Hopefully you can see that. Turn this bit here. Sorry. Okay. And then we're just going to press it in, and you'll see how it's just flaring, because although those 4 pieces are trying to go down in there, but they have to get through the top rim first, so they push out the rim, and there you go. That's just the amount it needed. Back it off, and then see, this is shaped now. Continue to use this for next time. So just leave all those together, and every one of these you add just takes out all the ridges on the side. And then it's more of a bell shape now. Again, your application will be different, maybe the same, I don't know, but it just fits in that a lot cleaner now.